Hello and welcome back to Aussie Frugal Family. My name is Rachel and this is another week of dinners. So this week I am once again using a lot of the Mingle recipe bases. I think when I run out, I will try just to use my own spices. I do have a whole spice rack and it is very well equipped. I just find it so easy to use just a packet recipe base, and I know that it's healthy and it has the instructions on it, and that's why I was sort of asking if anyone makes their own recipe bases. Like, I know I can just buy spices. I have spices. Like, that's how I usually used to cook before I had 2 children and discovered Mingle. But yeah, I just think it might be cool to have all the spices and things like that for our favourite meals all mixed up and ready to go. So let me know if you've ever done that. Anyway, so I'm making the Mingle chicken pasta bake, I think it's called. It's basically just veggies. I think there was some sour cream and some cream cheese in there as well. As you probably already know, we always add extra veggies to our recipes because it makes us stretch a bit further, and it's nice and healthy because we use that beautiful fresh produce from our farmer's pick box. So this was the first week of using our meat from farmer's pick as well, but I did have some other chicken to use up first that I got from Woolies for cheap. So the first few recipes are not using the farmer's pick meat. It's just using Woolies meat. But yeah, this was the pasta bake. I left it in the oven for a bit too long because the baby was sleeping on me, but that's okay. The next meal that I made was a whole lot of butter chicken. And again, I used the Mingle recipe bases, and I was just cooking up some onion, adding in the recipe base, adding in all my other veggies, some passata. And this time I actually decided to blend all of the veggies in together. I've been doing this a little bit when I've been making curries because I always add in extra veggies, and I just find that when you blend it all up, it just tastes really good. You don't have to blend it like all the way up into a big puree. But yeah, it does make it taste really good. I feel like the flavors combine really well. It's also very good if you have picky children or picky eaters in general, because you're just absolutely smashing them with vegetables without them really knowing. So this has been really good for feeding my toddler because, people ask me, how do you get her to eat this food? I don't. We're very big on the offer but don't force thing. Having a healthy relationship with food is very important for me to instill into my children, because I do have a history of disordered eating and things like that. So very important for me to instill a love of food and no fear of food and no pressure surrounding food. Having said that, I do still want her to get some nutrients in her diet. So yeah, blending up veggies is the way to go. I'm not the sort of person who will make hidden vegetable meals for the toddler. I'm not making her own food unless it's something that we're going to eat as well. No, I'm not doing that. So anyway, yeah, made up the butter chicken sauce, and I cooked up some chicken thigh on the side there in the cast iron, and then I just added the chicken in afterwards. This honestly was probably not enough chicken for this amount of sauce, but it's fine. I just made some sort of like vegetarian type ones as well that didn't have the chicken in them. And yes, as you will be able to see in a minute, this made a huge quantity of butter chicken. And this is really good because now I have a bunch of containers of the butter chicken sauce just frozen in the freezer. And it means that if I'm looking for a nice, easy dinner, I can just defrost the sauce, just cook up probably some more chicken and some rice, and it's done. and I love that. And I've done that with a few of these like curry recipe bases as well. It's just so handy to have in the freezer ready to go. So I have some family size ones and some more like individual sized ones as well. And yeah, it just feels really good to have that stocked up and ready to go whenever I need it. Now, the next dinner that we had was pizza. I had made this dough on the Friday, but we didn't get around to making it because my husband had an appointment and I had kids swimming, and it didn't get done. So this was a dough that had spent a couple of days in the fridge, which is why it's in that container. But whatever, it was fine. It tasted a bit yeasty, but that's about it. So yeah, I just dump my dough out, cut it in half because we like to make it into two sort of small-ish pizzas. And then I just went about my regular pizza night routine, I suppose. I don't have a particular way that I sort of like stretch out the pizza. I honestly have no idea what I'm doing with it. I just make sure that it's sort of flat and sort of a circle. It just needs to be a flat sort of circle vessel for toppings, right? So there was not a lot in the way of toppings in our house because there just wasn't a whole lot of stuff prepared this week. I did have some of the Mingle sweet chili sauce, so I decided to use that on one of the bases, and then I just used tomato paste on the other. And the one that I put the tomato paste on, I always sprinkle that with some of the Mingle garlic and herb like shaker seasoning, or just use whatever Italian mixed herbs or whatever with some garlic. It's really, really good. It tastes like, I don't know, like a pizza. So I then just topped both of these pizzas with ham and cheese. A little bit boring, I know, but like I said, there wasn't a whole lot available. I didn't want to go cooking chicken and things like that. I just couldn't be bothered. So yeah, that's what I did. This was actually the last of that massive thing of ham that I got from Lighthouse Care. So we still have some of the bacon. But yes, there is no ham left. So I don't know what I'm going to do for pizza night now. I'm going to have to be like a bit more prepared and make sure that I have other sorts of toppings there and ready to go. I do want to start putting more veggies and stuff like that on the pizzas as well. It's just this is our sort of, not our cheat night, but a night where we don't really worry about eating vegetables and things like that. So this is what the pizza turned out like. As you can see, I actually forgot to film what the other one turned out like, but it was good too. So yeah, I have decided that the trick to it is very, very hot oven, and you cook it until the outsides are a little bit burnt. Not until they're just cooked. You want them a little bit burnt, so the middle of the pizza is actually cooked through. Now, this might just be because I have a dodgy oven, or it might be because I was using frozen ham on the pizza bases. But yeah, we realised it needed to be a bit burnt. I don't know if that's everyone thing. But yeah, this was really good. They just get better every week, these pizzas, and I'm really happy with how they turned out. The next and actually the final meal that I'm going to show you today was beef stroganoff. And again, it was a Mingle recipe base. So yes, I had not made this one before, and I wanted to make it because I had some leftover sour cream from the chicken bake thing that I made. So I actually made my husband run to the shops, he was already out, but I made him grab some mushrooms just to make this. And I was using the diced beef from the Farmer's Pick box. Now, I will say this diced beef, I think I would slow cook it. I think it needs to be slow cooked to be a bit more tender. There was like a bit of like gristle and things like that, which I know is very common with diced beef, but yeah, I think it would be better if I slow cooked it. I think slow cooked beef stroganoff is delicious anyway, so I'll be very happy to do that. I'm not the sort of person who like goes through their meat and like cuts bits of fat and things off. I couldn't be bothered to do that, and I'm also not scared of animal fat enough to do that. So I think I'll just, slow cook it next time. But anyway, so I did the mushrooms and the recipe base and tomato paste, and I also added in some grated zucchini, again, just for a bit more of a nutrients hit. And as always, I did not have stock. I haven't had stock in ages. I would usually use homemade bone broth in the place of stock in recipes, but I haven't had any for ages. I don't know why, I just haven't been getting meat with bones. I'm actually thinking about going to the butcher and just buying some bones just to make some bone broth with, because I do believe that it is very, very healthy, very, very good for the gut. And yeah, it's just nice and flavourful and delicious as well. But anyway, I might go do that this week. I'm also just adding in some frozen spinach. Again, just more nutrients. I'll just add in as many veggies as I can, basically, without making it taste gross. And then I just let that simmer. This made a really good quantity as well. This is just me adding in the sour cream at the end, and I didn't quite have enough sour cream, so I just ended up adding some Greek yogurt as well, because that's basically sour cream, right? I use it in place of sour cream all the time. Whatever, it's fine. It turned out good. And yeah, as I was saying, so it made quite a few meals, which was great. I got to put some in the fridge and the freezer. You can see here I'm using some plastic containers because all of my glass containers were totally full of leftovers, basically. I think I said this last time, but I've been cooking dinner and then using the leftovers as just lunches. So I just whack the leftovers into the freezer. I prep them out into like meals first, like single meals, and then I whack them in the freezer so the husband and I can just grab whatever we want for lunch that day. And it's really nice having that variety in there as well, because I make something different for dinner every night. So there's always something new and different in the freezer. It's good. Anyway, so this beef stroganoff was quite tasty. I think it would have been better with just sour cream, to be honest, but whatever. And yeah, like I said, I will do it in the slow cooker next time just to make that beef a bit more tender. But yeah, those were our dinners this week. Stay tuned for next week, and thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.